All right. Okay,
Not yet.
well, okay. We are recording. Okay, so welcome everybody. Welcome to GEG Nevada Monthly Meeting number 4. Woo!
Woohoo!
It's amazing. I feel like I've known everybody, my team members, for longer than 4 months. That's how I feel. And these are the GEG Nevada team. And I am so happy that there are educators that are not on the team. So welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We know that you are really tired and stressed, but it's good to get together, right? Thank you, Scott, so much for sending the email to everybody. I thought that was very nice. I loved your email, so thank you. Okay, and okay, our norms are please mute yourself and use the chat for comments and questions and have fun. Okay, I know it's going to be only for 1 hour, but let's just have fun. Okay, so if you are not already an official member of this group, please join in because registered members receive important announcements and updates. And so it's really important. So if you don't want to get overwhelmed with a lot of emails, there is a way to streamline it. So just join, okay, whenever you can.
And actually, I'm going to take over for just a minute because I did want to introduce Google Groups for people who are not familiar with Google Groups. Google doesn't really have an email list anymore. They have an old one that you can still use, but you develop groups. So this is a way that I know I put all of my students every period in a Google group. So last minute, the Meet link is broken or emergency comes up, I can email all my kiddos. So this is the leaders group right here, but you can go here. These are all the groups that I belong to. Tons of them are GEGs, but like ours is right down here. And you can see all the members of our GEG group. And you can also update things yourself. So I want to make sure people know that if they are getting too many emails, you can fix that. So if I go to members here, you can see over here, okay, so this is my friend Becky. She has, oh, I guess I'm not the, I guess you have to go to membership settings. I've been lied to. Okay, so if you go to membership settings, the first thing is you can change your display name. And I would suggest doing that so people can see your name as we get to know each other. But also, this subscription right here is going to be the number of emails you get. If you want to get emails as they come in, you're going to go ahead and set this to each email. But sometimes our group can get pretty busy and it's kind of frustrating. We're getting 25 emails and it's hard to check all of them. So what I like to set it to is digest or abridged. Either one is going to be a summary. I don't think we'd ever have over 50 emails, so I think they're going to be equal in our case. But what happens is then every 24 hours, it'll update an email to you and give you a summary of all the emails that came in. So you don't have every single email. And then you just save changes. I want every email though, so I'm going to change it back to every email and hit save changes. And that way you can stay up to date with everything, but you don't have to be bombarded with the email. And if you ever have trouble finding it, just go to Google Groups in the Omni bar and search it, and it will come up right away, and you can edit any groups you're in, including the ones from school also. If there is too many people in your staff forum who hit reply all and you want that to stop, you can abridge those emails too.
Thank you so much, Dana, for showing us, because to me, that's really key. You know, like I subscribe to so many groups, but once I know that I can manage that, you know, that's better. So thank you so much for sharing that.
And I'm just going to drop the bit.ly in the chat here for anybody who's not a member of the group. It's right there.
Thank you. Great. All right. Okay. So at GEG Nevada, we have this website, and when you go to this celebration form, you get to show off your accomplishments, such as, like, you know, you get Google Certified Educator Level 1 or Level 2 or trainer or innovator or anything else that you would like to celebrate. And I love looking at the GEG Nevada website and looking at the, oh, you know, this teacher now has a Level 1 or Level 2 or became a trainer. So please do fill this out. Yes, it says Nevada Google Educators. And these are the people who have both innovators and trainers and level 2 and level 1. And it's so nice to see that I see educators from, you know, Carson City area, from the northern part of Nevada. I think this is a kind of a good place to, you know, to see what's happening in different parts of Nevada.
There's the link to that one too.
Thank you, Dana. Okay, and our mission is to build a community of educators from around Nevada who empower, inspire, share, and learn together, united in a common interest to leverage technology for transformations in learning. Okay, so once again, welcome to our 4th monthly meeting. So we are going to do a quick get to know each other activity. And then Scott is going to talk about office hours. And our special guest, Kyle Anderson, is going to talk about his passion project and tech tool of the month and Google update. So we have a lot going on today too. All right, so I just love getting to know each other part of this meeting. And the question for this month is, what city would you most like to live in and why? Dana is going to put the link for this Jamboard in the chat.
There it is. Is the share settings already set, or do I need to jump in there really quick?
Yeah, it's already set. I hope.
We'll find out soon.
Yes. All right. So I created many pages. So if there is not enough space on page 1, please feel free to go to page 2, 3, 4, okay? And while you guys are typing, I'm going to talk about mine. I would love to live in London because I love art and, well, golf is my #1 passion, but art is my second passion. And there are so many museums in London and they are all free. So I would love to live in London.
Ooh, pretty.
Ooh.
I picked Aruba if I could bring my whole family and all my friends with me, because that's really where I want to be, is close to my family and friends. But I actually put that I really do love Vegas. I know people always talk about wanting to get out of Vegas, but I do love the fact that all my people are here and the weather's always great and we are close to the beach and the mountains.
That's great. If
I was a millionaire and could bring everybody with me, we're headed to Aruba.
Nice. Very nice. Oh, any city with my family, Kate. That's so sweet. I see Chicago.
I agree, Dana. Those people that shovel snow, I'm like, wow.
Well, I moved here from Minnesota, and I love Minnesota. It is a beautiful state. It's got 4 seasons, but every time I go back in the winter, I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm not going back.
Heather, I know you chose Telluride. I'm going to tell you, yeah, check their webcam in the middle of one of their snowstorms and you'll change your mind. But you can go live there for the summer.
What did you put, Scott? Did you put Salzburg? Oh my gosh.
Salzburg. So Salzburg is, I'm looking for, hold on, an image. Can you put a picture on a Post-it note? That's what I'm trying right now. Oh, you can't, dang it. Salzburg. So who knows what SOM is? Anybody?
Student of the month.
Sound of Music. Sound of Music. We're big, huge Sound of Music fans, my wife and I. I don't know if many people don't know this, but when the Von Trapps did travel to the US in the 50s, they were the #1 traveling group in America. They sold out tours more than any other performing group in the 50s. Very active across the country in this, the Von Trapps. So we've been there several times. I've been there several times. Love the area. Beautiful country, nice weather, friendly people.
Tasty beers, right?
Yes. Well, I'll let Kyle talk about the beers in Austria.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always Kyle guy to talk about the beers, huh?
I really wanted to either drink beer or the cranberry juice that Scott was talking about.
Or maybe there's a cranberry beer, Kyle. I don't know.
I'm sure there is somewhere. I know Leinenkugel's makes a cranberry shandy around Christmas time, so start looking for it.
I love shandy. I get so upset when I go to a bar and then the waiter or waitress don't know what a shandy is, you know. So, all right. See, I just love this activity.
London. Who's London? Oh, Mimi. Yeah, I love London too.
Yeah. Very cool. Does anybody want to share?
I've never actually been to Hawaii. I feel like I'm the only one.
It's beautiful. I lived there when I was in high school.
Wow.
And Hawaii is right on Oahu on the north side of the beach, so a lot of surfers go there.
Oh.
We were supposed to go this last spring for the first time.
Hawaii is beautiful. Yeah. This is so cool. Well, thank you guys so much. Okay.
I love it.
That's great.
That's the real Von Trapp family.
Oh, okay. All right.
They were a real family. Some people don't know that. They really were family.
I did not know that. I thought that was
Von Trapps. We're real. They were real.
That's awesome.
They didn't escape across the mountains. They walked down to the train station and took a train to Switzerland. But
I did not know that.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
So
they didn't
cool.
walk across the mountains. But they did leave Austria.
Okay. All right.
It makes a better movie, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of
Very cool. All right.
There you go. There's your trivia.
Or are we staying? Anybody else want to share?
Dublin.
Okay, super cool. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay, so office hours. Okay, please start.
What can I say? We have office hours. Hey, any leaders? There's plenty of space if you want to sign up as a leader to lead an office hour. I will, hold on, sorry, I was going to put I was all prepared to drop that link. And if you are, what I recommend is any of you who are on here and you know that your teachers need help, and this is a nice place to go if once every Tuesday at 4 o'clock that we don't have a meeting, we're going to have office hours, hopefully. And there won't be one next week because it's the evening before Thanksgiving break. And then also I left off the ones in Christmas. But any leaders who want to sign up to help, to sit and help people, you can do that. That's it. Thanks.
Oh, and we should mention that when we say the leadership team, it is not an exclusive group at all in any way, shape, or form. It is a person who is passionate about educational technology and wants to help people. So if you feel like that is you, just reach out to anyone in the pictures on the website and we'll get you hooked up. If you have ideas to make it better,
basically, if you call yourself a leader, you're a leader.
Very true. Thank you so much, Scott.
Say again.
No. That's very true. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, so passion project. Okay, so I know people who are here are passionate educators, right? Because you are giving up your time after work, right? My personal passion is golf. I can talk about golf because that's what I work for. And I just love the sport. Okay. So when I think about golf, I just want to share my passion with others because I just love it so much. So I just ask educators, like, what's your passion other than teaching? And every month there is somebody who will talk about it. And this month is Kyle Anderson. And Kyle, I know Kyle because he used to teach at the other CCSD, Carson City School District. And now he is back to Clark County School District. And so without further ado, Kyle, please tell us about your passion.
So,
Kyle.
Say thank you for letting me share this. I was supposed to do this last month, but the meeting went a little long and I had to take a kid to her dance class that day. So, but I want to talk a little bit about blogging today and why that's something that I am very passionate about. So blogging is something that you can do to write creatively. And that's kind of my outlet for it. Is I love to write. I always have. I'm the person that if you gave me a choice between a 50-question multiple choice or writing a 25-page paper, I would write the paper in a heartbeat. I love to write. I would much rather do that. So it's something I use as an outlet to write creatively, share some ideas with it. You can get your students involved in writing through blogging because then they have an audience that's not just a teacher, where putting together a blog, it can go out to their classmates, it can go out to families, it can go out to the world if you really wanted it to. And it's super easy with Google to start a blog. So blogger.com is Google's platform for blogging. So if you just go to that website, it's very easy to get going on designing a blog and doing some different things with it. You can insert links and images and videos into blogs. You can do advanced things using the HTML editor in Blogger. There's a lot of different things. So, and there's different publishing features. Like you can write them and set them to publish at a later time if you want. You can write one, and if you don't like it, you can delete it, and then it's no longer there unless somebody screenshotted it and then is using it against you on Twitter or something like that. So, but and if you don't like the Blogger site, there's lots of other ones out there too, like WordPress is another really popular one. And then some of your other website platforms out there like Wix and Weebly and whatnot, you can do some blogs on there as well. So it's just something that I got started with it a few years ago. Can we go to the next slide, please? So back in the day with MySpace, I actually had a blog on MySpace way back when, and I deleted my MySpace probably back in like 2009. So I don't have access to the ones that I wrote back then. I would love to get back to those. So if there's anybody that has a connection with somebody that is still somehow connected to MySpace and can dig into the servers and find my old account, that'd be awesome, because I would love to see what I wrote like 15 years ago. But the current blog that I have through Blogger, I started it in late 2015. It's actually, I got to go back and check the date when I published my first one, but I'm actually coming up on the 5-year anniversary of it. And since then, I've written almost 150 different posts. So I was a lot more proficient before this year. 2020 has really cramped my writing style a little bit. I have not been able to write as much, although I did write 2 in the last week. I'd gone 2 months without writing, and now I've written 2 in the last week. And I write mostly about education, but then I throw some personal stories in there. So my latest one that I published earlier today, or was it yesterday? I don't remember. The days run together at this point. I actually took song lyrics from I chose 5 songs and song lyrics and connected them to education. So that was kind of more of a fun blog to write. But as I developed it, so when I started back in 2015, it was just something as a way to write and do something that kind of let me blow off some steam or whatever. It started to kind of take off for me a little bit. So that's when I started designing what I refer to as my brand, where you see on the screen there's a little blue icon with my Bitmoji, Anderson EdTech with the website. I actually bought andersonedtech.net, and I linked my blog to that domain. So that's kind of like my personal brand now. So like when I go to conferences and my Twitter handle and Instagram handle is that icon right there, people will see my name tag and say like, man, your name sounds really familiar. I always stick one of my stickers on the name tag too, because then it gives that connection to people, and people go, oh, that's where I know you from, is from that Anderson EdTech icon there. So, but then the blog eventually also led to, next slide, please. And Dana actually has a copy of it in her hand. It led to this. I wrote a book, and I started the book in like the spring of 2019 in March. And I was just kind of writing a little bit here and there whenever I had time. And then I pitched the idea to EduMatch Publishing. And in July of 2019, I signed a contract to publish the book, and I finished it off over the last few weeks of July and into August of 2019. And then worked over the course of the rest of 2019. And then on March 7th of this year, so a week before everything shut down, the book came out. And then any marketing that I had for it went nowhere because everything got caught up on Twitter and Facebook with everything COVID-19 related. So it was never about selling copies of the book by any means, but it was a lot of fun. So, but I would love to sell more copies if I could, obviously. So, but To the Edge, Successes and Failures for Risk-Taking is a book that I wrote about risk-taking. So times in my life where I've tried different things, and either the successes I got from it or the failures I got from it, what I learned from it. I really kind of opened myself up on some things in the book. And you said, Dana, she has a copy of it. She read it. She said it was good. I mean, that's one person. So, I mean, who am I to judge? So, but it is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through EduMatch Publishing. I have been trying to market a little bit more as of late. It has been on sale for about 50% off on Amazon. So instead of $20, it was as low as like $4 one day, but now it's back up to like 11. So, and then it is also available on Kindle. Mimi has the Kindle version of it. So, and then I do have stickers. So if you happen to buy a copy of it, tweet at me with a picture of you with the book, and I'll get some stickers in your hand as well. So you can learn more about it at totheedgeedu.com.
Can I tell people why I like the book?
Yes, you may. I would love for you to promote my book for me.
Kyle's story. Okay, so Kyle is from the Midwest. He moved out to Vegas. And so many of us did that. And so many, like, I don't want to ruin the book, but he has so many situations in the book where you're like, I've been through that. I had that administrator. I had that situation. I know how that felt. I wanted to leave too. And it's just every step of the way, I felt like I was relating with Kyle, and I knew what it went through. And finally, somebody understands the ups and downs of what the education field actually does to you.
Thanks, Dana. So I appreciate that. So, but yeah, like I said, if you grab a copy of it, A, thank you, and B, let me know, and I'll get some copy or get some stickers in your hand for it. And if we can ever see each other in person, I'll sign it for you too.
I'm going to take a picture right here so that I can put it on my Twitter, because the book author is in the same meeting with me. It's super cool, right? Okay. So Kyle, can I ask you a question? Like, what
Yes.
about writing? do you like about, because for me, writing, you know, I'm an ESL, right? I mean, my first language is Japanese. Even in Japanese, writing is not, it doesn't really, it's difficult for me. So like, what about writing brings you joy?
Writing is something for me that, I mean, I'm an extroverted person. I will talk to anybody, and I have no problem jumping on these and talking to complete strangers. I don't have issues with that at all. Writing is just something that, if it's something that I can articulate things in writing, I can't articulate in my speech sometimes. So I'm not one that normally stumbles on my words, but with writing, it's something that I can articulate in ways much easier. And then, I mean, I just enjoy the process of it too, where getting an idea down and then expanding upon it. And then I can work on something for an hour and then realize, you know what, this is absolute garbage, and delete the whole thing. But at least I know where I went wrong in it originally, to where I can fix it for later on. Or complete opposite, I could write something, I could write 1,000 words in 20 minutes, and it's something I'm very, very happy with. It's just something that, it's something I've always loved to do. I can think back to when I was a little kid, and I would, you know, write my own little books and make them and whatnot. And I was always a voracious reader, and I still love to read. I'm not reading as much as I would like to these days, but I do have, I am working on, I cannot put this one down. Oh, you can't really see it right now. Why is it not coming? Anyway, oh, here we go, there. So I'm working on this book right now. It's the band Bad Religion. It's a biography of the band Bad Religion. I can't put it down here, and all reading all these stories of how that band came up. And then, you know, just reading books, and then getting into like junior high and high school, where writing became more of a thing. It was just something I really picked up on. And, you know, and then again, through college, all of a sudden I'm in classes where you have to do the writing, and everyone else is complaining and putting it off till the night before. I'm that person. I have 2 months to write the paper, and I've got the thing written like the day it was assigned 2 months early. And instead of it being a 5-page, like the professor said, I'm writing 15. So it's just something I've always loved to do.
That's great. Thank you so much for Kyle, for sharing your passion. And you know, we are going through this, you know, historic moment, right? With living through the COVID, and I really think that everybody should be writing, right, about it. So, because 10 years later from now on, we will be thinking about, remember that, you know, like, remember the times. And I think that'll be great. Like you and me and our students and everybody, you know, if we record what we are going through, I think that's great. So, well, thank you so much, Kyle, for sharing your passion. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the tech tool of the month. Christine, would you like to start?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Would it be okay for me to share my screen? So I've been having a lot of freezing issues lately. So if I freeze, I apologize. It has been a rough week with my Wi-Fi. I don't know if it's the area I live in or what's going on, but I'm going to be talking about Wordwall.net today. And at first glance, when you go onto Wordwall.net, it actually looks kind of lame. I'm not going to lie. Like the homepage itself looks like it doesn't have a lot to offer, but once you start playing with it, it actually has some really cool tools to use with your students. And so today I'm just going to talk about a couple of those tools. I'm going to show you some examples of some activities that I've done with my class. I'm a kindergarten teacher, so my stuff is going to be a little bit lower level than what you might use with your students, but just to give you an example of some of the activities that you can do. Can you all see my screen now? Okay, excellent. So this is the homepage for Wordwall.net. I have paid for the pro experience. There's a free trial, and then there's also a basic plan as well. You can pay monthly or you can pay by the year. There is a downside to this Wordwall.net. As cool as it is, when you first subscribe and you do the free trial, you can only make 5 activities for free. And then once you make those 5 activities, then you're cut off from making your own, but there is a plethora of activities in the community section, which is located on the top bar here, that are available that other people have made. So if you're looking for something specific, you can do a search like you would with anything else, and there might be some already pre-made activities that you could use. I went ahead and paid for the basic plan, and then when I bought the basic plan, I realized there was a bunch of other cool activities that I wanted that were in the pro plan. So I went ahead and upgraded to that. It's either $6 a month for basic, $9 a month for pro, and then if you pay by the year, then it's cheaper because they give you the discount. So as you can see here, there's a lot of activities offered, anything from like matching, putting things in groups, the wheel spin, labeling diagrams. There's games called whack-a-mole, balloon pop. They make things into a game show. So what it does is it just offers you a way to kind of give those quick assessments with your class. That's kind of what I'm using it for. So with my kindergartners, for example, I met with my low group of students who are struggling still to learn their letters and sounds. And I put up the random wheel with the letters that we had learned so far, and they got to spin the wheel. I mean, it's exciting for 5-year-olds, you know, so they got to spin the wheel and they got to land on a letter and tell me what the letter was and the sound that it makes. So it was just a way for it to be more interactive. And that's really what this program offers. So it's really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of my activities. A couple of things that I made. And again, just keep in mind that this is for kindergarten level, but you could use it for anything. So you can see my letter wheel here. These are the letters that we had learned so far. My kids got to spin. But we learned about fall a little earlier this season. And we learned about, you know, the signs of fall and the other signs of the other seasons. And so there was a matching or a grouping activity that they could play just to show me their understanding. And what's great about this too is it embeds. So you can get an embed code, you can put it directly into Canvas. So if you are working with younger students, you don't even have to have them leave Canvas. They can do it directly in there, and then the reports are sent to your Wordwall.net account. So you can see how they did. This is taking a really long time to load. I apologize, but it is coming up. Something I will tell you while it's loading is something that Wordwall.net does for you is if you create an activity, for example, I had the signs of fall where kids were grouping things into, you know, signs of fall and then signs of other seasons. It will give you suggestions for other activities that it's using that same information that you inputted into the program, and it puts it into other activities and other games, so that if you don't want to do a grouping activity, you can see here off to the right, it says interactives, and it allows you to switch the template to another game, so another style. So you can play the airplane game where they actually get to control an airplane, and the different clouds have the symbols that you place, and they can drive into the clouds that are the signs of fall and avoid the clouds that are the signs of other seasons. They can put it in a categorizing game. Also, the game show quiz, I've been doing that with my class lately. That gets them all excited. You know, 5-year-olds are pretty easy to ramp up. So this is a good tool to use with them. But just an example of how that looks. And it has sounds, and it, you know, they make it look pretty. So when you're looking at that first homepage, it kind of looks boring with just the white and the blue and looks very basic. But when they put it in the game show and when they put it in the category games and all that, it really does. And the kids just click and drag, you know, they're practicing those different skills through lots of different gameplay. And basically that's what it offers, is a lot of gameplay. My newest favorite is whack-a-mole, where how I'm using it with my class right now is we're learning CVC words, so vowel, consonant words. And we're, you know, looking at the difference between the sound A and the sound that I makes in the middle of words, and they can. So there's a lot of different activities for them to do. So I really encourage you to check it out, see what games are in the free version. If you like what you see when you make your first 5 free, then go ahead and check out those other plans. But it is a really great tool, and it's interactive and embeddable, and that's what I really like about it. So thanks for letting me share today.
There's some questions in the chat.
Oh, sure. Let's see. Okay. Can you link it with your Google Classroom? Ruth, I don't have the answer to that specifically because I'm not using Google Classroom this year. So I know that you cannot add your Google Classroom on wordwall.net. There's not a way to do that, but I'm not sure if, I know it does create a link. So you can create a link for your kids to go to, or you can embed it. So they could link straight from Google Classroom to the activity, and it would just take them to the external link instead of having it right in Google Classroom. Can this be linked into Nearpod? I haven't played with Nearpod enough because I teach kindergarten. I just haven't found enough on Nearpod that works for my grade level. But if you can embed things into Nearpod, I would imagine you can. Or if you can put links in Nearpod, then yes, it would definitely work. Was there any other questions?
I just are kids moving items, or are they just telling you? How are the kids moving
No.
items?
They can move items too. So what I do with my kiddos is with that wheel that I was telling you guys about with the letters, what I do is I actually sent it to each of them using GoGuardian. So I was able to send them the link. With your older kids, you could put the link in the chat. They could click on it and they got to spin the wheel themselves. Or you could do things where you have them tell you and you move it. So either way, Scott, you could do it interactive as a live session, or you could actually have them do it hands-on with you. If they can access the link, then it works the same way. And they click and drag, so it's all different kinds of movement. Like the airplane game, they use their arrows or they use their mouse to make the airplane move. The wheel is just a click. Some things are click and drag. There's matching games. There's just a lot of different movable pieces. It just really depends on what the game is. Any other questions? All right, thank you guys. I think Christy is up next with, can't remember her tool. Off to you, Christy.
All right, so I just took over your screen. Let me get this, whoops, well, let me find the right one. Nope, yes, oh, there it is. All right, so I have just a real quick tool for you today. It is actually a Google Chrome extension called Web Paint. Teachers came to me at the beginning of our remote learning, and they really wanted to be able to annotate on PDFs. So we figured out how to do that, but then we thought, oh, let's take it up to the next level. What if we could write and annotate on any web page that we were presenting to students? So that's where this extension came into the picture. So it's called Web Paint for Google Chrome. So really quickly, to find an extension, you would go to the Chrome Web Store and you could search it. I actually did. I'll do it really quick. I'll drop in the chat. Oops. The link for that. So if you're like interested in kind of checking it out, there it is. So I wanted to go over a little bit about what's the difference between an extension and an add-on. So this is a Chrome extension. It is something that customizes and extends what your Chrome browser can do. And Chrome extensions are not to be confused with add-ons, but they're very confusing. Everyone confuses them. So add-ons are programs that add to the functionality of a particular Google application. So speaking of Docs or Google Slides or Forms, these add-ons would link directly to those applications and only do something within those applications. And you can actually find a little add-on menu in Google Slides and Docs up in your toolbar. So that's sort of just a very basic difference between the two. So let's get into a little bit of demo, because the best way to see this tool is in action. This is a little preview of what the toolbar will look like. And actually, I'm going to jump over to a website that you might pull up for students. Where Chrome extensions live is up here in this top bar, right next to your Omnibox. And right there is my little web paint extension. And I'll click on that in just a sec. But I wanted you to know this is where your add-ons live. But these aren't all the add-ons that I have. These are just the ones that I have pinned that I use often. To find your other add-ons, or excuse me, see, even I'm messing it up. To find your other extensions, you just click on the puzzle piece and you have all your extensions here. You can pin and unpin them here. There's your three dot menu that will give you options. You can manage your extensions there. So that is just a quick way to find your extensions. I do use an extension called Extensity. And there you see the name right there. When you click on that, I can actually turn on and off the extensions right here. So that's just kind of a quick way to turn them on and off. All right, so let's get into this. Let's click on our web paint. And when you do that, this toolbar comes up. The first thing to know about this toolbar is that it actually moves. So it does not have to live there. I am going to put it back. Let me grab my little cursor. Whoop, whoop. And let's go through the tools. So the first thing you can do, of course, is write. So let's say I click on the pen and I want to make sure the students know that we are learning about lions. So I can write there. A couple things you want to know too, I can change the size. 50 is about, I think is good. So you see what that line looks like. And you can even change the transparency. So if I bring that transparency way down and I want to highlight this word ferociousness, then I can highlight. You also have, let me just change that before I forget. You also have a color picker. So if I really want to use this green color, I just click on it and it just grabs the green color for me. If I click on the text box, obviously we're going to be able to write about lions. And then I can also do things like draw lines. So I click on the line tool and I want to put a nice line underneath this, I can. And you can also grab the arrow tool. Whoop. Let me change colors. Oh, let me just show you how to change colors. So when you change colors, you just click on the color. And then I could grab something that's a little bit more bright. If you are into hex codes, you actually can enter the hex code here. So know that you have those options down in that little menu. So, whoops, let me just get rid of that. So I can use this. I always call it the uh-oh button for my littles. Here's your uh-oh button where you can get rid of the last thing that you did if you didn't like it, or you can put it back if you decide you want to keep it. So now I'm going to draw an arrow. Now we can see it a lot better. You can also draw these kind of interesting lines if you're a math teacher and you need to draw a parabola or something like that. There you go. And you've got even a curvy line here as well. You can draw a polygon. You can grab the circle tool and you can put a circle. You could also grab the square tool and highlight something. So really easy to use. Now, if I ever want to go back to the cursor, because you'll notice like whatever tool I have, I kind of keep it. And if I really need the cursor to do something with, I just click on the cursor tool. Here's my eraser. I can erase. And if I do want to fill, let me change this to another color. If I would like to fill this in, I can fill it in. And I'm wondering, I haven't tried this, but I bet I can change the transparency. And oh, hey, you can. You can make it a transparent when you fill. So a few things we've talked about the uh-oh buttons. Here's the one I can use if I want to clear everything. I won't do it just yet. I can take a screenshot and save this if I want to. If I want to write, but I don't want the toolbar, I can just grab the pen and then I can click that. And then now I'm just left with my tool. If I want to get that toolbar back, I could just click back on the extension. And last but not least, I can erase the whole page. To close this application, you just click right there. So that is a really quick tutorial about how we can use this really kind of well done extension. So I'm going to try one thing. I've tried this before. I think it'll work. So I'm going to put myself, and I believe I can write inside of a Google Meet. So let me change this color. grab this one, and let me grab the pin. And now, can you guys see that? They changed the transparency so it's better. So I can even draw inside of a Google Meet. Right? So if you needed to point something out in the Meet, or I thought even, so let's say that a student did a really good job and you pin them to the screen, and then you could make them into a cat or a princess or their favorite thing as kind of a little reward. You can write on PDFs. You can write on Google Slides, Google Docs, anything. Let me just show you that real quick. And I will grab a circle. So if you want to get a hold of me, that is my Twitter handle. If you have any questions, please let me know. You put them in the chat. You can open your mic. And anybody else who has used this tool and has some other ideas, please let us know. But that is WebPaint.
Well, thank you so much, Christine and Christia. I just love learning new tools every month because I just never used either of the tool, and I just so thank you so much.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Is there a video that you use to learn WebPaint, like you could push out to like teachers and so forth at your school, or did you was it just a play and figure it out on your guys' own?
For me, I was in a meeting just like this, and someone was talking about wanting to annotate, and another person was like, "I have a great tool for that," and they just literally showed it just the exact same way that I did. You can find some tutorials on Google. You just Google some tutorials on YouTube. But this is definitely one that I was probably going to make a tutorial for my own teachers. So when I do that, I'll get it to Dana and she can push it out in all of our different channels.
Thank you so much.
And Christia and Christine, if you would be so kind as on this slide, if you want to put like a link to Wordwall, and if you're willing to put a link to your slide deck in there so that when we push this one out, they'll have those tools also, that'd be awesome.
Wow, thank you so much. Okay, now Dana, tell us the updates. Good and bad.
Did you notice we use the same Bitmoji? All right, what's new in Google? Okay, so there's been some good things in Google and there's been some bad things in Google. I gotta say this month Google has not made me the happiest person in the world, but let's figure out why. By the way, on the bottom of this document, I put some great places if you guys wanna keep up to date, or you can just keep coming here and I'll do it for you. Last month, Google G Suite did announce that it updated to Workspaces. I think they're trying to merge their business accounts and their education accounts kind of into one, and they're trying to, I think, make more money. So some of the updates that have happened since then is we got some new icons. That was an update from last month, so keep an eye out. I don't mind the new icons, except for the fact that I kept accidentally closing my Meet call when I meant to close out a different tool because I couldn't see the difference. But I'm getting used to them. Practice, you know, practice makes improvement. Another one, this one's really sad. Goodbye, Google Play Music. We'll miss you. I know, it's so sad. That was not really school related, but I thought I'd throw that one in because I used Google Play Music all the time. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. If you used Google Play Music, we'll mourn together. Custom roles now in Google Groups. By the way, I do not have any of these rollouts yet. They do roll out gradually. So custom roles in Google Groups. Now we looked at Google Groups earlier, but when you look at Google Groups, I wonder if I can even show you guys this stuff here. So if I go to the Nevada leaders, can I do this, members? We have roles over here. So like all the leaders are owners of the Google group, which means they can change things and they can mess things up and they can add people. But any of these guys have a couple different things you can do. I can kind of give them management rights, but pretty soon I'm going to be able to create custom things for people to do in the Google groups. So maybe Mimi's not a leader, but she's in charge of checking posts before they go live. We don't have that function turned on, but we'll be able to do that. So I'm pretty excited about that one. So maybe you were using Google Groups for a group activity in your classroom, and you wanted certain students to be able to do certain things. We could define them that way. What else is new? Changing to Google Workspace. This is the nail in the coffin, people. One of the reasons educators were so excited to move to Google Suite for Education was because we had unlimited storage of photos and docs and sheets and drawings and all those videos from our Meet calls. That is going away as of June 1st, 2021. We will have data caps. The world is in uproar because of this. I have no idea what I will do with my pictures. But anything in there already will not be counted against your quota unless you modify it. So let's say you have a really big slide deck in there with lots of stuff in it, so it's taking up some room. If you update it after June 1st, it will now go against your data quota. So I know in CCSD we are enterprise. Hopefully we will keep that status and then this will not be a problem. But if we ever go off enterprise, or if you retire, you are going to have to buy some storage from Google in order to keep all your stuff. Soon you will be able to schedule calendar events right from chat. If you are not using chat, you should be. Chat is amazing. Chat is kind of like Google Hangouts, but it's a way to communicate with everybody. I got a message from Kyle here, and pretty soon right down here, there'll be another little button that says calendar, and Kyle can be like, hey Dana, can we get together on Tuesday? And I'll just click that little button down there, and pretty soon me and Kyle will have an appointment that says we're gonna meet on Tuesday. So I'm really excited about that one because, oh, Joanne just sent me a chat. Hi, Joanne. So pretty soon Joanne's gonna say, hey Dana, I'm gonna go ahead and schedule a meeting on Tuesday, and I'll be great, and I'll just click it down here. Now chat is already great if you don't use it. We can have nice rooms. So my whole math department is in a room. We put all the teachers in a room that none of the admin are in. So we can chat when we want to. You can start a Google Meet call straight from inside chat. If you're not using chat, you should be. Next update. This is the other one that is making people very upset. As of June 30th, 2021, Google is shutting down the VR field trip and expeditions. If you guys recall, a couple months ago, I did my passion project on a Google tour. You'll still be able to use any Google tours that are already created, but you will not be able to create new ones. The reason why educators are so angry about this is because they spent lots of money on VR kits to be able to do this. And so now they won't be able to do that. I'm hoping some other company will pick it up at a low cost, but we are very sad about that one. So I was going to ask you guys, Google Hangouts is sticking around for non-workspace people. But for workspace people, we are supposed to have chat down here, not Hangouts. So mine hasn't updated yet. It's still Hangouts, but it'll be chat. And you'll notice Joanne's chat message does go inside my Hangouts, but Hangouts has, or chat has way more features. And pretty soon I'm gonna be able to get to pin conversations. So let's say this conversation with Joanne is like the most important one that I see every day. I can pin it right on top so it won't get buried as soon as this rolls over to chat. So I'm excited for that one. That one's a good one coming up.
Hangouts was the precursor to Meet. They created
Yes.
Meet because people complained that Hangouts was too hard to do video conferencing through. That's why they invented Meets or wrote Meets.
Yep, and you can do video calls, but they're not quite as good.
That's going away. You cannot do calls on Hangouts anymore, or coming up soon. They're blocking that.
Yep, and Duo is going away also if you've used Duo. If you haven't, don't worry about it. Okay, so this one is also not related to G Suite or Workplace particular, but I use Smart Compose all the time. I love Smart Compose in my emails and everything else in my Word docs. But as you can probably imagine, Smart Compose does collect your data for marketing purposes, so that you can turn it off right now, but those kind of programs are still running in the background. Pretty soon you will be able to block it completely. So if you're one of those people who think that Google is listening, well, they are. So you'll be able to turn that off. And then Google Maps, I'm not going to click on this one, but Google Maps has some updates coming out to address some of the new needs we have in this new normal of a pandemic. They're going to be able to let you know where things are crowded, how long the wait times are for takeout, and there's a couple things in there, so you want to click on that link and figure out what other Meet updates are coming up. And then the one I'm waiting for is virtually raising your hand in Google Meet. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Let's see if I can zoom in here. There's a little hand raise. It's kind of small to see right now, but it'll be right down here next to turn on captions. We'll have a hand raise. And we should see that any day now, because that's going to be rolling out. Yeah. If anybody wants to know any of the Google features, if they're unfamiliar with sharing videos and stuff like that in Google Meets and wants to stay on after the call, I'd be happy to go through those, but we are running out of time, so I am done. Oh, I do have to self-promote. I am doing a workshop with GEG Nevada and Global GEG on Saturday, the 21st at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard, or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is via YouTube, but if you guys want to learn how to budget with YNAB principles and get your financial life in order for the new year, please join us. Back to you, Mimi.
Thank you so much, Dana. I just wanted to piggyback on Gwendolyn's chat that, like, everybody has so much knowledge and, willing to share. So I really appreciate your comment. Thank you so much, Gwendolyn. And Dana, thank you so much for your presentation. Will, what do you guys think? It's 4:58. So do you guys does anybody have any comments? Or too hungry to go, that you want to go?
Hi, Jennifer Rochelle here. I just have a really quick question, please. In regards to Google Hangouts versus this new chat, I have a lot of things that I reference in my Google Hangouts. Will we still have access to it for a while to convert those things over? Thank you.
Well, truthfully, Google Hangouts was already put in the Google graveyard about 4 months ago. It was supposed to disappear, and they've been saying it's going to disappear for about 2 years now. Yet every time they don't seem to do it. And like I said, it's still in my Gmail, so I bet they keep it around for a little while. But anything in your Google Hangouts should migrate over to Google Chat, I'm hoping.
Christia talks about the Google Arts and Culture. I think they're really leaning into that. They're adding things to that. There's some amazing stuff. If you have not been to that part of Google, it is amazing. If it's new to anybody, please look at Google Arts and Culture. It's amazing.
Arts, yay. All right. Okay.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, please.
This is Ruth. On the breakout rooms, has anyone, this is probably more for the
teach the very littles. I teach kindergarten also. And the problem with the breakout rooms for me is like, how to get my kids to go into them. Like I have an extension. It's not that I don't use the Google breakouts from the Google itself. I use the extension someone told me about. And they're like, oh, just put it in the chat. Okay, that sounds great, except when you're 5. And I really don't let my kids, I really haven't talked about the chat because I don't want them chatting because they are 5.
So I'm with you there, Ruth. I haven't taught my kids the chat either. But I chose not to do the extension route. So with the breakout rooms that is currently in Google Meet, it actually sends them there as soon as you click the button. So they don't have to do anything. They just have to go.
Yeah, because with the extension, the reason I like the extension is then you could, when you broadcast, you could broadcast to every room and you could pop in, so I haven't really used breakout rooms with my kids for those reasons because it's difficult to send them off.
Yeah.
My other question.
Oh, sorry. I haven't used it for presenting anything. I've used it for them to have the opportunity to talk or discuss. So I haven't needed to show them something, but I never used the extension to be able to speak for that. So.
Yeah, I wanted to use the breakout rooms so that when I'm doing small groups, I can put each kid in their own breakout room and then they can read and the other kids can't hear them, but I can hear them. So that was how I was going to use it. And then the other one, and I don't know if we could do this, but no thanks to my art teacher at my school, she taught the kids how to do the backgrounds, how to change their background. Like some of you have, the camping trip behind you. So my 5-year-olds love, especially my girls, love the backgrounds, but their teacher not so enamored of them because they go to do something and I completely lose them. And I'm like, honey, all I see is pink flowers. Where did you go? So can I do anything to stop them? I mean, I tell them, I'm like, oh, I can't see you, come back. But I don't know if I can somehow control that.
No, you can't control it. We have some of the teachers at our school have set a rule that you set your background at the beginning of the meet and you don't change it again until you leave that meet. So yeah, there is really no way to turn that off. And it's also something you could really explain to them sort of how it works. Like I don't care for the backgrounds because I don't like how unstable they are, right? And a lot of times their computers will freeze up because it's taking a lot of processing power. So I'm the technology teacher at my school. So I explain those things to the kids so that they start having an understanding of how the computer works and when and why to use things like that. And I want to go back to the chat, and I have to be on the opposite side of using chat for the littles. I teach K-5, I've taught all the classes how to use the chat. I've also taught my kinders how to get a link out of the chat. I only see them once a week, so this is our 3rd week of doing it, and they're all really good at doing it. I look at the chat as an opportunity for students to communicate, but also I tell them when they come into the meet, I say, pop in the chat a word that you learned. What letter are you learning? Would you put it in the chat? I want to know. So it's an opportunity really for them to show what they're learning as well. But again, it's one of those things you have to set limits. It's routines, procedures, just the same way I would in the classroom. But I'm kind of an advocate for really just teaching them about all this and how to use it appropriately and with digital citizenship.
Can I pop in if you don't mind? Agree with
sure.
Is it Christia?
Yeah.
I wanted to agree. I'm a teacher, and so I have pre-K through grade 5, and I also use the chat on a regular basis. And even my kinders, I agree with you. It's all about and not a negative to the other person, but just it took me